Have you ever thought if folklore was a bookshelf, what would be on it? Well, I've done the research, I've read the books. So today, let's find out the books that feel like folklore. First up, we have The One. And I think the book that best fits with The One by Taylor Swift is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So The 7-Year Slip is about a woman, and she inherits an apartment from her aunt in New York. Turns out the apartment is magical, and she gets flashed back 7 years into the past, and she meets a guy who was living in the apartments 7 years in the past. So it's a funny take on a past and present timeline because our main character Clementine is in the present point of view for the whole book, but for our secondary character Ewan, he is in a past timeline from 7 years ago and in the future from him now. So it's a really interesting story following time travel and love, and it really shows how much a person can change in 7 years and how important it is to wait for the one. On to the next. Next up, we have Cardigan by Taylor Swift. Cardigan is so nostalgic, first love vibes, and a second chance romance pairs perfectly with the song, I feel like. This one is so accurate in my mind. It's Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Love in Other Words is an alternating timeline past and present of Macy and Elliot, and it's basically following them as kids starting to grow their relationship, and then them 10 years in the future after a huge incident happened and them rekindling the relationship. The first bit is so nostalgic and amazing that matches, but the second part of them 10 years in the future rekindling what they had was so you put me on and said that I was your favorite. Okay, that cardigan was under your bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. If you love Cardigan, you're gonna love Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. The next song on the album is The Last Great American Dynasty. Now, this song is such a freaking vibe. Makes me tear up every single time. Like a girl boss tear up though, don't worry. And I think the best book that suits this that I've read is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Yeah! A boss-ass Hollywood star, Evelyn Hugo. First of all, slay. And we're basically following her misfortunes and her life and all of her husbands, and it's so Last Great American Dynasty coded that I literally associate the book with the song. I don't know why. I don't even know why my brain puts two and two together when that happens, but it's happening, okay? Basically, Evelyn Hugo is a bomb lady, and that's all there is to say. It's Hollywood drama, it's messy, it's fun, she's rich, she's rewriting her life, she's avoiding scandal. This book is so freaking good. This blew up in 2020, but if you haven't read it, I highly recommend. The next song on the album is Exile. This one was really hard for me. Exile isn't my favorite song on the album for some reason. Bon Iver just kind of scares me sometimes with his voice, and this is one of those songs. Taylor's all la la la, and then Bon Iver's you see me stand. Oh my god. Hi. Hey. Forgot you were here. Is that just me? I don't even know. Bon Iver, I love your music, but when you're on a featured track in a Taylor Swift's album, I'm just kind of a little caught off guard. I think Exile is the most Normal People by Sally Rooney, because here's the deal. Normal People was such a crazy emotional ride in my mind, and so is Exile. Normal People follows two classmates who are kind of in a situationship together, but then they fall in love, and then they go to college, and then they break it off, and they get back together again, and it's sort of following the heartbreak between two characters, and especially... no spoilers, but the ending of Normal People is so Exile coded. Tell me why. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending? Literally Connell. And tell me why. This is Connell again. Connell literally word for word says in both the book and in Taylor Swift's song, he is saying to pack us up and leave me with it, holding all this love out here in the hall. Okay, that was Connell. Okay? Connell, are you okay? Because this is you. And Connell again! Literally think Connell wrote Exile. I think it's Exile by Taylor Swift featuring Bon Iver and Connell. because he's a writer-producer on this track. Connell again is saying, and I never learned to read your mind. Normal people like messed me up when I read it, I feel like. Okay, the next up is My Tears Ricochet. And this one was kind of hard for me because this song like hurts my soul on like a crazy level. Like something deep down that I didn't even know I had access to is hurting. My Tears Ricochet is gonna go with A Court of Mist and Fury. Tell me why My Tears Ricochet is literally Feyre being stuck with Tamlin in the castle being like, I need to get out of here. My Tears Ricochet, babe. My Tears Ricochet. I bet she had it playing on loop in the castle that she's locked in because her boyfriend is crazy. Anyways, we love Resent. That was mega spoilers. Anyways, next track we have Mirrorball. Mirrorball is so My Friends by Frederick Bachman coded. I think this is partially because this is one of my favorite songs on the album, and also because this is one of my favorite books of all time, and they just like coincide together in my brain as like top tier. But anyways, the themes also match up very well. Tell me why Ted is literally the Mirrorball. Taylor Swift read the book and thought, I'm writing Mirrorball after Ted. I'm a Mirrorball. Oh no! Guys, I can't even talk about it. I'm gonna cry. My Friends follows our main character Ted and this newly introduced younger woman Louisa going on a train, and Ted is telling the story of his friends when he was a kid. It also follows one of his friends becoming a world famous artist and how in life we're supposed to balance our friendships and our expectations and growing up and moving on and dealing with hardships, and literally everything meaningful to me was touched on in this book, and it was just so beautiful to read, like honestly beautiful. Let me look up Mirrorball lyrics. Okay, hear this. This is a direct quote from the book, okay? You are not like the regulars, the masquerade revelers, drunk as they watch my shattered edges glisten, okay? The friend group, they're a Mirrorball. I can't. I get too emotional talking about my friends. I need to stop bringing them up in videos. The next track is 7. This is my favorite track of the entire album, guys. Write that down. And the book I have for 7 is going to be Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. Let me talk a little bit about the book before we begin. So Mary Jane takes place in the 1970s, and basically Mary Jane is hired on to babysit for one of her eccentric neighbors, and then turns out while she's babysitting, their neighbors are also therapists, and then they happen to be doing drug therapy on a famous musician. So we're kind of looking through like family dynamics, and it's very found family for me. Love this book so much, and it is so like childhood innocence like 7 is. It fits so well together because it's so like childhood nostalgia, wonder, discovering yourself as a person, wanting to be back at the place where nothing mattered ever. Mary Jane is so sweet and amazing, and her relationship with everyone she meets in the book is just so fantastic. Next up we have August. The whole August, Cardigan, and Betty like love triangle. I don't like reading love triangles, so this was kind of hard for me, but anyways, I did read The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it is very August vibes. We're gonna move on. Everyone has seen this show, blah, 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 blah. If you like the song August, you've probably already read The Summer I Turned Pretty. Next track is This Is Me Trying, and this is so Lessons in Chemistry coded. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus was like one of the most surprising reads that I read this year, and it just blew my freaking socks off. Basically, it's taking place in the 1960s, and we're following Elizabeth, who is a female scientist in a male-dominated industry. It follows her as a mother, follows her as a scientist, and follows her growth as a person. I just think like her resilience in the book, especially in the beginning of the book when the inciting incident happens, is very This Is Me Trying. I've been having a hard time adjusting. I had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting. Period. Moving on. Next up we have Illicit Affairs. Also, this one is kind of hard to place for me because I do not like reading books, especially romance books, that involve cheating. It's just not for me. But the only book I could think of would be Daisy Jones and the Six. Illicit Affairs is very Daisy and Billy coded. They're hiding out here. There's so much chemistry here. But hold on. Billy's got a girlfriend. We can all see where that is going. But not necessarily the whole book works with the song Illicit Affairs. just like the main couple. A brief intermission. I did run out of storage. So next song on the album is Invisible String. This is like my favorite song. I decided to pair it up with Summertime Punchline by Betty Carello. This was like such a surprise 5-star read for me this year. Summertime Punchline is about a stand-up comedian going back to her hometown due to some big unexpected changes, and she's kind of thrown together with one of her high school rivals. It's also a lot about her family life and her home life and her relationship with being in her hometown, which was really interesting to read. And I really enjoyed the romance in this. It had a couple twists that I didn't see coming, and it was very Invisible String in a way that there was so many little pieces pulling the couple together and them slowly building the relationship over time. It was really sweet and wholesome. Our main character was really relatable to me. Our MMC was very handsome, very cute, very lovely Eddie. I'm such a fangirl for Eddie, if you can't tell, but it is very Invisible String coded, and this is one of the smaller books on this list, so if you haven't read Summertime Punchline, I like highly recommend it, especially if you love that Invisible String vibe. This is so that book. Next up, we have Mad Woman. There's nothing like, and the maddest woman I can think of is gonna be Sylvia Plath. Not that I would say that she's like angry, but like that deep-seated like frustration and anger within her writing is so angsty and so good. And so I wanted to pair up Mad Woman with The Bell Jar. I read this when I was a teenager and I was also very angsty. And I think like this pairs so well. I am so Mad Woman when reading The Bell Jar, but the contents itself of The Bell Jar are very like slow and depressing, but then she does have her like Mad Woman moments. But I think the biggest thing that pairs these two together for me is I'm the Mad Woman when I'm reading it. But yeah, very Mad Woman coded, but maybe I'm just the Mad Woman. Who knows? Next up is Betty. First and foremost, I don't really like the song Betty. Load up at your party. Girl, I don't care. This man wronged you and he shows up at your party. Anyways, not my favorite song, but Betty is so Summer Sisters by Judy Blume coded, it's not even funny. Two besties who grew up side by side, hanging out all summer together, and it follows their secrets, their jealousy, their relationships, their shadiness. This book was insane, super nostalgic, really messy, really emotional, very interesting read. Next, we have Peace. And you might be thinking, Phoebe, there's no way you'd choose a Christmas book with Peace. But I did it again. Peace is gonna be Grace and Henry's holiday movie marathon. And you might be thinking, Phoebe, what are you even talking about? Let me pull it up. Grace and Henry's holiday movie marathon is a holiday read. I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. But what you probably don't know is it's a second chance at love for two couples who have recently lost their partners. And it's following the struggles of how you restart your life while you're missing someone so deeply, and how you can move on while still honoring them and remembering them. Especially our main character, Grace, her struggling to come to terms that she likes another person after her partner passed away, and not knowing if she can get into a relationship because she can't give that stability that they would need, and like she can't give them peace in the way that they would need her to. Very on point for this song. Would it be enough if I can never give you peace? Like that word for word was a quote from the book. I love how I'm just like blatantly lying. Like when she says, I'm a fire and I'll keep your brittle heart warm, it's so like Grace's like gung pao fiery energy and Henry's slow to love energy. And the last song on Taylor's album, Hoax. I was kind of confused. I know I might get hate for saying this, but Hoax is gonna be paired up with A Court of Silver Flames. Nesta's like confronting her trauma, and I think Hoax is very like Nesta thinking about her relationship with Cassian and how Cassian is trying to be in a relationship with her. Like, I don't want no other shade of blue but you. Is so Cassian and Nesta coded. Come on now. No other sadness in the world will do. Come on now. But this is so what's running through Nesta's mind in the book. Okay, that was kind of a roller coaster, but thanks for being here with me. I hope you liked my opinions on which book goes with which song. If you have any other takes, let me know in the comments below. I love both folklore and reading, so if you want a part 2 with Evermore, it would only be fitting. I would not complain. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!